Every child at some point asks their parents a question about the limits of our world. I remember mine like it was yesterday. I was sitting next to my father looking at an old world map, and I asked him, "Dad, does this world have an end? Does it just stop somewhere?" He didn't laugh. He didn't even smile. He looked at me with a level of certainty that has stayed with me for 20 years. A look that makes a child believe anything. He said, "Yes, son. People say it's the Bermuda Triangle." To me, it wasn't a legend. It was the physical edge of the world. In school, I was the kid warning everyone, if you go there, you simply never come back. Years later, that fear didn't really fade. It just changed shape. Curiosity replaced it. I started digging Navy records, accident reports, cold, hard facts, and honestly, some of what I found was unsettling. I found the USS Cyclops, March 1918, a massive coal ship with 306 souls on board. It didn't just sink. It vanished. No distress call, no wreckage, nothing. Then I found Flight 19, 5 Navy bombers that literally flew into a cloud and never came out. Even the rescue plane sent to find them vanished too. The numbers were staggering. Over the last century, this Devil's Triangle has claimed more than 50 ships and 20 aircraft. More than 1,000 human lives have been swallowed by these waters. For a long time, the data confirmed my childhood fear. The world did have an end. But then, I noticed something that felt off. When I looked at the records of the last 20 years, the end of the world was suddenly quiet. The disappearances slowed, then they stopped making headlines altogether. The most infamous stretch of ocean on Earth went silent. Why? Did the monsters under the waves go to sleep? Or is there a reason why the world's most famous mystery has suddenly been scrubbed from the headlines? To answer that question, I needed to understand how the Bermuda Triangle was supposed to kill in the first place. Not theories, not rumors, mechanisms. If this place had truly earned its reputation, the danger wouldn't be abstract, it would be physical. So I approached it like a crime scene, and the first thing that challenged the legend came from an unexpected direction: insurance. Insurance companies don't care about mystery, they care about loss. But according to risk assessments from Lloyd's of London, vessels crossing the triangle aren't treated as high-risk outliers. On paper, the route is just another part of the Atlantic. That immediately raised a problem. If the danger wasn't exceptional, then why did the stories feel that way? The evidence points to a single overlooked factor: volume. The triangle overlaps with one of the busiest corridors on Earth. More traffic means more failures, and more failures mean more headlines. Still, statistics don't explain everything. Numbers don't explain how a ship disappears without a single SOS. One of the most compelling explanations I found lies deep within the geology of the ocean floor. There are massive deposits of methane hydrates buried under the sediment. Under the right conditions, these formations rupture, venting colossal plumes of gas into the water. In an instant, the very physics of the ocean shifts. The water loses its density, and with it, its ability to support weight. In these zones, a vessel doesn't just sink, it falls. The seafloor effectively opens beneath the hull, swallowing ships with a speed that defies human reaction. It's a terrifying thought to process, but as I kept digging, I realized that for the pilots who vanished in clear weather, the trap wasn't at the bottom of the ocean. It was waiting for them in the sky. Because the sky over the triangle is just as deceptive as the water. There are these sudden, invisible downbursts, walls of air that slam down from a clear sky like a hammer hitting a nail. For a pilot, it feels like a giant hand suddenly pushing your plane out of the sky. One second you're flying, the next you're being slammed toward the water. But for the ships below, it's even worse. That same blast of air can hammer the sea into a rogue wave, a sudden 80-foot mountain of water that appears out of nowhere, leaving no survivors to tell the story. But something still didn't add up. Why did the world suddenly go quiet? Had the legend that shaped my childhood truly disappeared? Or was something else changing that we still don't understand? To answer this question, I didn't look at theories. I looked at the timeline. I went back to the records of the last 10 years to see if the killing actually stopped. And in 2015, I found the answer. I found the SS El Faro, a massive modern cargo ship that sailed right into the heart of the triangle. It didn't make it out. 33 people lost their lives. It was a tragedy, yes. But here's the crucial difference. It wasn't a mystery. When I looked at the report, the cause was clear. Hurricane Joaquin. We tracked the storm from space. We knew exactly where the ship went down. We even recovered the voyage data recorder from the bottom of the ocean. Now, compare that to the USS Cyclops in 1918. When that ship vanished, the headlines screamed, "Ghosts, monsters, and portals." Why? Because we had no data. This comparison reveals the truth. The Bermuda Triangle is still dangerous, accidents still happen, the physics of the ocean haven't changed, but our view of it has. Technology, GPS, satellites, and advanced tracking didn't just reduce the accidents, it eliminated the silence. We replaced the unknown with coordinates. So the monsters didn't leave, they just evaporated under the light of data. I realized my father was right. The world did have an end. But it wasn't a physical edge in the ocean. It was just the limit of our knowledge. And once we understood the truth, the monsters disappeared.